several domestic products, and for electronic product there is some registration scheme for electronic product. And
ठीक है ना?
नहीं तो कोई दिक्कत इससे नहीं हो रहा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, जैसे हम अभी चल ओके ठीक है ठीक है ओके ठीक है परफेक्ट. So in certification, first one is regarding grant of license for marking ISMR, and then for electronic items, we have this registration mark for electronic items. Then there is hallmarking regarding the maintaining the quality of gold articles that are being sold in India, and laboratory activities for helping the all these certification activities. Then there are different consumer related activities, administration and finance. This is just an overview about the what are all other activities of BIS. Okay. Now, coming to the important part, which is regarding the standards. Yesterday, I was giving you an example of a standard. Most of you may have used some standards like testing method standards during your projects or during seminar that literature review. For testing methods, you may have seen some standards, SOPs, etc. So, standard is a document which defines a process or a method or some terminology. I will give some examples in the upcoming part of my lecture. Okay. Now, how a standard is written? Whenever a standard is written, it is written through a consultative approach, consensus approach, circulation of draft, and then meetings. Okay. So, for example, if we want to prepare a standard on any particular item, like I will give example of a product standard. If we want to publish, like prepare a standard on a work chair, like chair that we use in our offices. No? So, whenever a standard, so first of all, a draft is presented to BIS for preparation of a standard, and then a consultative approach is used. Now, in this approach, consultative process is used, and in this process, all the responsible organizations are involved. The first one are the consumers. The inputs are taken from the consumer, and then there are this R&D and research and development and scientific bodies. Then academia, our MOE institutions on different colleges. Then professional bodies and policy makers and government regulators and the industry that manufacture that product. And at the center, the BIS Act as a technical committee, member secretary as a technical committee, and who is responsible for the formal preparation of that standard. The first one is the consultative process. We take input from each and everyone which is involved, who is affected through that standard. Then a consensus approach is used. Consensus approach means any parameter, any requirement is mentioned in the standard with consultation from all the parties involved, and there is no any sustained opposition from any party who is involved in the process of standard making. Then circulation of draft, we circulate all the draft standards to the committee members and for all the public in India for their comments, and after getting comments, we prepare the final standards. So whenever a standard is written, inputs are taken from each and every person in our country. Now, the next one is what are the principles that we use for standard transparency. We, whenever a standard is prepared, we circulate it to, it is always easily accessible to every person in India so that they can see what are the standards that are being prepared, what are the standards that are being reviewed. Openness, the standards are available for everyone for commenting, for giving their suggestions. And impartiality and consensus, we do not take inputs from one specific party or one specific organization for making the standard. We take inputs from all the involved parties and then prepare the standard. Effectiveness and relevance, we generally do the current industrial practices are taken into account, and relevance to the current industrial practices are always taken into consideration in formulation of the standards. Whereas we take input from our national standard body, that is BIS, and standard development organization, and harmoniously we develop standards so that inputs from other development organizations are also taken. Development dimension, we engage all the under represented and interested parties, like everyone from our India can comment in formulation of the standards. So all the principles of World Trade Organizations are used in formulation of the standard. So whenever a standard is prepared, we preparation of the standard. Now, when we develop the standard, we have this 17 division council. Like these are like the departments of the engineering department, mechanical engineering council, electrical engineering council. 17 division councils are there, and then there are section committees under these division councils, and then panels and working groups, around 1,300 panels and working groups who work on some specific standards. And there is this overall, it is a balanced, diverse and inclusive overall structure which works in the formulation of the standard. Now, the 17 division councils, they are like our engineering department, civil engineering, chemical, electrotechnical. And basically the last one which is added in this is the Ayurveda department, which is working specifically on the Ayurvedic medicines and different plants and what are their uses, and the standards we are being prepared on each and every Ayurvedic plants which are used in our medical system. So life cycle of a standard. Now, whenever we prepare a standard, we don't just prepare it and leave it for once the standard is prepared, we do a lot of activities, take inputs from all the stakeholders for whenever standard is prepared, when it is used by the industry, they come to know that there is some issue in the standard or in the requirement, and they give us a feedback. So through feedback mechanism, we always review our standards, and then we through review, through periodic review, we take some decisions on the standard. For example, for a standard, we sometimes an amendment is issued. For example, a minor change is required in a standard, then amendment is issued. Then, in some cases, if there are major changes, then the whole standard is revised. In some cases, standard is withdrawn, considering that there is the technology that is being used is obsolete, then we withdraw the standard. And in some cases, if that standard is not being used, then we archive that standard. And this periodic review is always done. Every standard is reviewed at least once in 5 years, so that it is aligned with the current technological developments. Now, coming to the point of standard, I have used this word standard a lot of times, so I think most of you know what a standard is. And with example, I will give you some explain you the types of standard. For specification standard, like for every product we prepare a standard. For example, we use tiles, fans, ceiling fans, electrical sockets and switches, the gas cylinders, pressure regulators, cables. Every product has one standard. In some cases, there are 2-3 different standards for one product to cover all the varieties of this product. For example, the cylinders have lots of different varieties. Some LPG cylinder, medical oxygen cylinder, CNG cylinder. They have different types of standards. Product specification standards are the standards which are regarding the products. I have given you some examples. Then there are method of test standards. Lots of testing are involved. For example, mechanical testing, tensile testing is used in several standards. So it is mentioned in one standard, and in all the other standard reference is given that tensile testing is to be carried out as per this standard. So test method standards are there. Then there are code of practices, recommendation and guidelines. For code of practices, I can give an example of like how a hospital should work. What are the facilities that should be available in the hospital? So that are the some of the recommendation standards. even the how a library should be library, what is the arrangement of the library, and what are the how a school, that is primary school, what should be the construction practices that should be used in the construction of a primary school. These are some of the recommendation and guideline standards. Terminology and symbols, for example, I can give you example, like there are several terminologies which are used in yoga. So there is one separate standard which explains the different terminologies that are used in yoga. So sampling, for sampling, like in case of large lots for testing, there are some sampling guidelines, and these are covered in the sampling standards. System standards, these are ISO standards for which we ISO 9001 and 14001. These system standards, these are aligned with India standards, and these are used for system certification. And then service standards, there are different services that are apart from product, like how in transport industry should work. These service standards are prepared so that this helps the industries, service industries, in their proper functioning. So these are the types of standards. Now, when a standard is prepared, we generally prepared for a product standard. We generally give a brief idea about in the forward. We generally give a brief idea about why this standard is required and what are the recent changes that are incorporated in the standard. Then there is the scope of a standard. The scope of a standard is clearly indicate what the standard is for. Then terminology, what are the new terminologies that are used in the standard. Materials, for a product there are different materials are used, and what are the materials that are used in the standard for this product. Then performance and safety requirement. What are the requirements of that product for this given in the standard. Packaging and marking guidelines. How a product shall be packed and marked in order to have a long life, and what are the marking what should be marked on that product so that the customer clearly understand. Like for example, if you purchase a PVC pipe, so what is the diameter of that pipe and what is the pressure class is marked on that product. So it depends upon the product, what is the marking guidelines are there. And then use of BIS standard mark, how BIS standard mark shall be applied. This is overall a what a product standard looks like. So while preparation of the standard, in order to strengthen our outreach activities, we are mostly focused on stakeholder engagement. There are a lot of stakeholders which are engaged in this formulation of standard. Educational outreach, that is the currently which we are focused on. Like we are focused on the providing information about BS to different schools and colleges. We are signing. We have this memorandum of understanding with different educational institutions. Then we are focused on research on capacity building, process and digitization. That is one area in which we are working currently, and marketing and communication. In this way, BIS is strengthening its presence and improving, publicizing itself so that people know about BIS and takes advantage of the information that is available with BIS. Now, coming to the part which is regarding the synergy with academia. So as you know, we have a memorandum of understanding with your college. So in this way, recently we are focused in outreach program of the BIS in schools and colleges, because when I also first time knew about BIS, that was when I was preparing for BIS interview. But currently, the students from schools and colleges, we want to engage ourselves in outreach activity of BIS to the schools and colleges, and we have started this activity of standard clubs in schools and colleges so that we can have interaction with the students and give them information about the Bureau of Indian Standard at school and college level. We have chairs for standardization in different. Currently, we have 17 premier institutions where chairs for standardizations are currently we have formed there. Like this is IISc, IISM, IITs, different IITs. Then at some NITs we have, and all these colleges, these are actively involved in process of standardization. Apart from this, we have signed MOU with currently with 75 different institutions, and this memorandum of understanding, this involve one of the colleges is your college, and these different colleges from our country are involved in this 70 in this memorandum of understanding. And through MOUs, what are the activities that we are carrying out? I will explain in brief. The first activity that we are carrying out are the technical sessions at MOU institutions. We have identified 80 different topics from the different engineering departments, and we deliver technical sessions on these topics, so that the MOU institutions, the students from these MOU institutions, they get knowledge about these topics and what is the involvement of BIS in these areas. Give you some examples of the technical session. The first one is the standardization at BIS. It is regarding the activity of standardization that is carried out at BIS. Second one is ISO IEC directive, International Standardization Directive. Then principles of standardization and good standardization practices. These are related to Bureau of Indian Standards and how a standard is prepared. Then we have this for electrical department, low voltage and high voltage switch gears. There is technical section on this. Standardization in internal combustion engines, building materials, introduction to the concept of artificial intelligence. In artificial intelligence system, a standards perspective, means how Bureau of Indian Standards view this artificial intelligence. Standardization is requirement of good agricultural practices, environmental management. These are some of the examples of the technical sessions. There are total 80 technical sessions that we have prepared, and this will be delivered in all the MOU institutions. The next one are the reference handbooks. We have prepared a lot of reference handbooks for the students of the engineering institution, and they can utilize these reference handbooks in their curriculum. Some of the I have given some examples. The first one is regarding the thin pressure vessel gas cylinder, building materials. Then there is software testing, electrical motor bridging, academy and industry standards. For example, electrical motors, there are lots of electrical motors. Electrical engineering students, you study different types of motors, but there are standards are available for all these types of motors. So when you study these electrical motors through standards, the gap between the industry and the education institute, what is the difference in their teaching method, that is covered in this reference handbook. Renewable energy, then fish and fish products, soil mechanism and foundation engineering, artificial intelligence, standardization in power capacitors, low voltage and high voltage switch gears, refrigeration and air conditioning, transformers and related Indian standards, standards on petroleum products and their test methods, high voltage direct current HDVC, electrical cables and overhead electrical conductors, then textiles, mechanical testing of yarns. So these are some of the examples of the reference handbooks that are prepared for students. So you can take advantage of these reference handbooks and the technical sessions, with both this available on BIS website. So if anyone have interest in this field, so they can through these reference handbooks, they can get an idea about the current industrial practices and what are the standards that are available in this on these products. And you can have a very technical, detailed technical specifications regarding these products, which you may not get in your textbooks because current industrial practices are incorporated in this reference handbooks. So the next one is academic dashboard, that will be all the institutions which use this, with which we have memorandum of understanding, they use this academic dashboard for accessing the information and for the research purposes, for submitting their proposals for research projects. That I will cover in next slides. So for this academic dashboard, we have working draft. First one are the working draft. These are the drafts, these are the standards which are under circulation and which are under review. So the academic institution, they can give their comments and they can see what are the standards which are under review, and they can suggest their inputs in these standards. Then R&D projects. This one is the important topic, which is for all the students which are interested in carrying out this R&D project, their final year projects or their postgraduate projects with BIS. The most important benefit will be regarding the funding that will be completely given by BIS. That I will explain in detail in the next slide. Then there are the standard clubs, which you already you have 5 standard clubs in your college, and you carry out all your activities through this dashboard. And there are several other tabs are here which are helpful for the students. I will focus mainly on the R&D projects, which for which this help. Role of research in standards. Earlier, what we used to do is we used to formulate standard by taking this comments and suggestions from our stakeholders. Most of the stakeholders were only the this manufacturing industry, because they are the manufacturer of that product. So they will be the comments will be received from industries. However, we want to engage the students and the researchers in our standard making process. So after 2021, we have decided that none of the Indian standard will be formulated without using this ARP technique and R&D project. Like whenever we have changed our standard making process, this ARP is like action research project. Earlier, we used to take comments from our stakeholders and we used to publish standard. But now what we do is we carry out a research, and then we prepare a draft standard, and then we circulate to the our stakeholders, and then we take comments from our stakeholders. What happens here is, earlier we used to prepare a draft standard, then take comments from our stakeholders. Then industries, they used to comment that there is an issue with this practical application of this standard, and this parameter is not in line with our industrial practices. But now what we do is we already carry out research and then then share this standard with our stakeholders. So when a research is already done, so standard is formulated in lesser time, and there are no any technical technical mistakes in the standard. So eligible organization which can participate in this standard making process through this technique, through this method are the academic institutions and universities having MOU with BIS. Your college is one of these college having MOU with BIS, and faculties and research scholars thereof. Then there are government research laboratories like CSIR, DRDO, ICAR, and the members of the technical committee of BIS. Members of technical committee of BIS, like I have given you an example that whenever a technical committee is prepared, there is one person from BIS, and there are like 15-16 members from government organization, from industries, from research organization. They can participate in this ARP process for formulation of the standard. The objective of this process, the method was to knowledge generation, because getting knowledge from the researchers in preparation of the standard, that was the best way to learn about the current practices. Then expert network expansion. Earlier, BIS used to take inputs only from our industry, mostly from our industries only, and through this method, we have this network of experts, which lot of experts, including schools, including colleges and researchers, which are now involved with BIS. Research ecosystem enrichment. Yeah, obviously, when the researchers are involved, the ecosystem that will be enriched, BIS ecosystem that will be enriched with researchers. Now about R&D projects. Now, when a college having MOA with BIS, they want to participate in standard making through their projects. Like these R&D projects are described as a comprehensive, in-depth and in-depth study of a product, process or service, or all taken together in respect of a subject of standardization. The only one thing that is required is the subject should be regarding the standardization. So that this project should help BIS in formulation of a standard, or in review of a existing standard. For example, I can give you one example of PVC pipe. The PVC pipe are used in our for water supply in our homes and in our agriculture uses. There is one filler content, that is calcium carbonate CaCO3, that is used in preparation of this PVC pipe. If a PVC pipe has a higher value, a higher CaCO3 content in it, so it will be brittle. Although it will have a low cost, but it will be brittle. It will not have proper strength. And if someone uses lower content, so that will not be cost effective process. So there should be one exact percentage depending upon the usage which for that PVC pipe. Like for different class, different calcium carbonate content is the optimum content. So if someone carry out a project on this, like what should be the optimum CaCO3 content pipe, so that it meets the requirement of the standard, as well as it helps the manufacturer in having a cost-effective raw material to manufacturing process. So such kind of projects will be accepted by BIS, because that will help BIS in formulation and review of standards, and it will also help students in carrying out their project, and also complete financial help will be given by BIS. For example, expenditure limit for a project is around is fixed at rupees 10 lakh upper limit, and that is including taxes. So that is more than enough expenditure limit for any student to in carrying out their research project, final year engineering student or a MTech student or a PhD student. This is more than enough. I think this is more than enough limit for carrying out any research in any project. Okay. So next one is when someone is interested from college having MOU, is interested in carrying out research with BIS, they have to submit terms of reference TOR to BIS. That will have one title, background, and objective. What is the main objective of that terms of reference? Then expected research methodology. What is the scope of study? Then task and deliverables. This deliverables, that is the main parameter on which that TOR is accepted or not. Then review method and schedule for submitting reports. Support and inputs. What are the support that you require from BIS? And project duration and timeline. This is what the student or through their college representative, they have to submit to BIS, so that this terms of reference that will be accepted by BIS, and whatever support, including financial support, is required, that will be provided by BIS. So currently, in phase 1, we received 153 projects that were offered, 382 proposals received against 5 projects. 82 projects sanctioned, and work study started being monitored by the respective technical departments. So whenever a student submits such proposal and when it is accepted, apart from their guide, the their project work is also monitored by the BIS standard making department. In phase 2, 82 projects were offered, 211 proposals were received against 69 projects, and 46 projects approved. In phase 3, now currently we have 60 were offered and more than 250 proposals are received, and this phase 3 is in process. So if someone is interested, they will have to apply in the phase 4 that will start in the month of May or something, when your new academic year starts. Okay. Now support needed to BIS. Now this is not from the students or MOUs. So overall support that is needed by BIS. First is that is standardization is to be included as a subject in the curriculum. That in all those 17 institutions where a chair is available for standardization, so there one subject is already incorporated in the curriculum where standardization topic, that subject is involved. Then participation of faculty in national and international standardization through membership in technical committees. We have technical committees in which the faculties, there are very like lots of faculty who have experience in research, and that topic, their special topic for like 30 years, 35 years. However, most of them are involved in their college and their research in their college and in some limited area. So we want their input in formulation of the standard by their participation in our technical committee. Recognition of R&D work done in standardization by the faculty, research scholars to be considered as an academic achievement for career progression. Like when we are also helping the students in carrying out the research for BIS, these should also be recognized by the schools and by the colleges as their academic achievements. PhD students can take up project based on standardization. Research projects at UG, PG, and PhD levels to mandatorily have a chapter on impact on national standardization. Institutionalization of conducting technical sessions on standards in the educational institutions. So we can, BIS is already ready for delivering all such technical sessions to the colleges. However, we need support from this AICTE and UGC that they should inform these colleges to have good connection rapport with BIS so that the standardization is reached to each and every student in all the colleges of our country. Next, from this organization like DST, CSIR, and this research organization, we want them to all the government-funded R&D projects shall be visible on a single platform. Directions may be issued from the concern to include the Indian standards in the lab manuals for the laboratories. Like in most of the cases, in your laboratory also, when you use the SOPs or the testing method, sometimes this ASTM standards and American Society for Welding and different those standards are given the first priority by the colleges for teaching to the students regarding the testing methodology. However, Indian standards are already available, which are aligned with the international standards, and the teachers, the professors can give examples of the Indian standards, and they can include these in their laboratory manuals. Now, the next one is participation in the national and international standardization through membership in technical committees. That is the same. These research organizations, we expect them to participate in standardization. Sorry. Regarding the this is what I was talking about. The organization like research organizations, we expect them to have the reference to the Indian standards in their laboratories and their participation in formulation of the national and international standardization through by making themselves the members in our technical committees. So that was from my side regarding what is BIS, what are the activities of BIS, what are the opportunities in BIS for the students, and what are the expectations of BIS from the colleges and the professors of the colleges and the students. Okay, thank you. Thank you for me. Any questions? Yes. Okay.
So how they are eligible to get some grants for this specification?
For drafting the specification.
Yeah.
Okay. So this research methodology that I have already explained, this one.
How they will be benefited by this knowledge, whatever they will gain. How they
Okay. This R&D project, this is specifically developed for the students. They can take up projects regarding the topic of the project should be regarding the standardization. Like not the first one topic can be formulation of the new standard, and another can be regarding the improvement or the review of the existing standard. I have given one example of that PVC pipe. So they can take up such topics for their projects that will help formulation of new standard and review of the existing standard. And for that, this will be like all the financial support will be given by BIS, and they can carry out this research activity as their undergraduate and postgraduate project itself. So their work will also be done that they can complete their project, and it will help BIS, and complete financial support will be given by BIS.
how much financial support?
The expenditure limit is maximum 10 lakhs for one project, including taxes.
It will be with the teacher and student.
That in detail I don't know, but total